Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the walk. Today is Wednesday, January 8th, and we are up to Ezekiel chapter 30. That means we have 19 chapters to go in this adventure of Ezekiel. And this part of Ezekiel is called a lament for Egypt. And we already said that a lament is when you're kind of crying out. It's kind of like a sad poem or a sad song. So verse 1 says, "The word of Lord came to me, Son of man, prophesy and say, Thus says the Lord God, wail, alas for the day of the Lord, for the day is near, the day of the Lord is near. It will be a day of clouds, a time of doom for the nations. A sword shall come upon Egypt, and anguish shall be in Cush. When the slain fall in Egypt, and her wealth is carried away, and her foundations are torn down. Cush and Put and Lud and all Arabia and Libya and the people of the land that is in league shall fall with them by the sword." So basically what's happening is that all these nations are going to fall, and they're going to fall in a very violent way. In the Cultural Study Bible, it said that Jeremiah 46:9 lists Cush, Put, which is also Libya, and Lydia in the same order as foreign components of Pharaoh Necho's army at the Battle of Carchemish. For extra-biblical sources, it is known that the army of the Said dynasty comprised, besides Egyptians, Greeks, Ionians, Rhodians, Carians, Libyans, Phoenicians, and Jewish mercenaries. In the campaign of Psammetichus II from Nubia, Carian, Ionian, Rhodian, and Phoenician soldiers commemorated their involvement in the event by inscribing their names on the Colossus of Ramses II at Abu Simbel. So what does it mean that this is a land that is a covenant land? A case can be made for this being a treaty of mutual assistance concluded between Zedekiah in chapter 17:15 and the Said. Several sources point to Jewish mercenaries in Egyptian military campaigns. The 2nd century letter of Aristeas speaks of Psammetichus I having dispatched Confederate Jewish troops to fight against the king of the Ethiopians. So basically what has happened is that Egyptian has become a hodgepodge of all these nations kind of coming together, and there's these mercenaries that are going out and they're basically killing people. Verse 6, "Thus says the Lord, those who support Egypt shall fall, and her proud might shall come down. From Migdol to Syene, they shall fall within her by the sword, declares the Lord." So God is saying, it doesn't matter how mighty it looks. It doesn't matter how many nations are working with them. They're going down, and they're going to go down hard. Verse 7, "And they shall be desolated in the midst of desolated countries, and their cities shall be in the midst of cities that are laid waste. Then they will know that I am the Lord, when I have set fire to Egypt, and all her helpers are broken. On that day, messengers shall go out from me in ships to terrify the unsuspecting people of Cush, and anguish shall come upon them on the day of Egypt's doom. For behold, it comes." God is promising, my judgment's coming. I'm not going to put up with this pride. I'm not going to put up with the fact that Israel is going to Egypt and asking for help when they should be going to God himself. So these ships, there's these ships, they're going to go out from me in ships to terrify the unsuspecting people of Cush. That kind of grabbed my attention. I found the answer in the Cultural Study Bible, and it says, the Hebrew term, an Egyptian loanword, refers to military boats, not reed boats or merchant ships. And the unsuspecting people of Cush, in the Cultural Study Bible, it said Cush felt that having Egypt as a buffer zone offered a certain amount of protection from any of the powers from the east that would arise. Though the Egyptian pharaoh, Psammetichus II, campaigned against Nubia in 593 BC, it is not attack from Egypt that is threatened in this passage. The Persian king Cambyses invaded Nubia in 525 BC, and from that time it was counted as part of the Persian Empire. Nubians served as mercenaries in the Persian army. So the bottom line is, God's not going to tolerate the sin. And, we all have sin in our lives. And when we get that out of our way, we get to have a deeper relationship with Christ. And God will use situations in our lives to turn us away from that sin. And we need to be open to it. Have a wonderful day. God bless, and keep walking the walk.